Got it. Great afternoon, fam. Great afternoon. Great afternoon. I decided to go on the Zoom this morning instead of just going straight live from Facebook. I don't know which one I like best, but anyway, I am here and just wanted to great look, guys. Just wanted to just jump in real quick during the lunch hour. You may just be sitting there snacking or just taking you a quick little break. But guys, this morning has been amazing. This has been just a great weekend, a great week. Just great living. Just great living when you decide that you're going to live for Christ. All right. So I want to do this little lunchtime live real quick, and I want to share something with you all real quick, and just making sure that I can get it in real fast. I don't want to be here long and all that good stuff. So what I wanted to share with you all, look, my description says obedience. In obedience, guys, you reap the rewards. In disobedience, you get discipline. Period. All right. So we know that, especially my fam. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Who is my mother? Who is my brother? Who is my sister? Those who, do the will of my father. We're kinfolk. All right. We sisters and brothers in the Lord. But I wanted to just share something into, what I realized this morning, what God was just giving me revelation on so much. And just about, what we think. I'm just going to give a little snapshot, okay? And then I'm going to go into what I wanted to talk about. But just a little snapshot of, we thinking that this whole month of June has something to do with it, with the LGBT community, the Pride Month. That has nothing to do with what's really in operation. We've been hearing from these guys. They've been telling us, and these are men in ministry, even people who are not in ministry, but they're in some type of leadership position, in the world, high ranking and all of this. And if they telling you to go left, you really need to go right. Okay. And just paying attention to all of the distractions, we need to stop paying attention to all of the distractions and really get down to the real root of everything. And what's really what they're really talking about, what they're really trying to keep us from finding out. So, guys, as this month goes forward, we need to pray against the spirit of pride. And so you guys can look that up and know what that is. I was trying to see, did I have that? I wasn't planning on talking about that, but just looking up what that means as far as, just being prideful. And we know that God resists the pride, right? Anybody that's prideful. And so that spirit wants to raise his little ugly head and cause a whole, what do you call it? Wreak havoc. And so what I found out about it, and I went and looked it up to this particular spirit that's called the Leviathan, Leviathan. I think that's correct. Leviathan spirit. So look it up so that way we can pray against it, rebuke it, so you would not be walking around in that state of being prideful, because God will go against those who are prideful. So we need to definitely operate in humility and humbleness and all that good stuff. So guys, check it out. Do some research, and it doesn't take long. Just Google it, right? But anyway, so what I really got on here to talk about. So again, I just say this whole month, pray against it. Pray against that. Anytime you see anything, the word, the thought, the actions of what prideful people do. Y'all know, they only think about themselves, very selfish. And so that's what we was just talking about earlier today, that our leaders has now pegged our nation, our country rather, as a pride country, a prideful country. And we don't want God going against this whole country. We don't want to be punished, because of things that our leaders are doing ignorantly. And because guess what, we already paying enough already for what our ancestors have done. And guys, and what I really found out is that it's a covenant thing. So I'm going into what I came on to talk to you guys about. It's really a covenant thing. Okay. So if you have promised God in anything, I don't care what state of mind you are in, you got to pay up, point blank, period. You got to pay up. You cannot make a vow. It's better to not make a vow than to make one and not keep it. All right. And so, really, a lot of things that we're dealing with are covenant breaking, covenants that have been broken. All right. And we have to go and fix that. You understand? All right. And so just think about it. Now, like when you sign a contract to buy a house, and if you break that contract, what they gonna come do? They're gonna put you out and they're gonna take that house. Right? If you decide that if you enter into a contract to purchase a car, if you don't pay that car, no, they're gonna come and repo it, right? Same thing if you decide to do an apartment, whatever. You guys know, you know what I'm talking about. When you break covenants, things happen. So what I wanted to just really talk to you guys about is just to give you some things to go and look up for yourselves. Because what I did realize is that, we've heard of covenants, we hear covenants, but what is that covenant that, everybody's talking, oh, you need to fix the covenant. We don't broke covenants, and our ancestors broke covenants, and, which covenants and what covenant, what was the covenant? What was the promise? What did our ancestors promise God? And they agreed to it. What did they agree to that they did not keep, that we need to repent for and fix it? Because it was passed on to us. Just because they died, that doesn't mean that the covenant died with them. The covenant is still very alive, active, and well. All right. So, when I was looking, just reading this morning, and I ran across, God just reminded me about covenants in the Bible. So I'm just going to share overall covenants, and then I'm just going to list some covenants for you to go and look up, that we are responsible for. And I'm going to be talking about those things because that's the thing that we don't really hear about. We don't really learn about, that we can know that we need to go back and fix. So if we don't know what it is, we don't go and fix it. So we walk in ignorance. And then we walk around here thinking that what we don't know won't hurt us. Yes, it does. It's hurting us every single day, all because we don't know. And then when you get some information like this, or somebody telling you, they give you bits and pieces. Even I'm just talking about throughout ministries. You get bits and pieces. Yeah, y'all don't. Our ancestors broke some covenants. We don't broke the covenant. We are covenant people. But what covenants? Break that down to us. What is it that we should be looking for, considering? Blah blah blah. But a covenant is a sovereign pronouncement of God by which he establishes a relationship of responsibility between, okay, number one, himself and an individual. Look, I'm telling you, when we were going through some things, and my husband's like, when I told him, I gotta separate for a minute, y'all gotta hear about that. We had 60 days of separation, and he just could not understand it. And I mean, it was so strong in my spirit that I had to do it. He didn't say divorce, he said separate. And what God told me to tell him, it was something that he had promised God that he did not keep, that he did not do. And if I wanted to stay in and reap whatever whatever he was going to go through, and I wasn't willing to do that. I done enough going through. Now you need to go through and fix whatever this thing is. You cannot renege on your covenant to God, or just be prepared to go down. Period. All right. So again, a covenant is a sovereign pronouncement of God by which he establishes a relationship of responsibility between, number one, himself and an individual. Number two, between himself and mankind in general, like the Noahic covenant, where he says to Noah that he would never again destroy the earth, or destroy all flesh with the flood. All right, so that was a covenant he made with Noah, that he would never destroy the earth again, the flesh, destroy people, get rid of us through a flood. And number three, between himself and a nation, that's the Mosaic covenant. So that covenant he made with Moses. Guys, we need to go back and read up on these doggone covenants so we can get right, so we won't get left. Okay. Number four, between himself and a specific human family. All right. such as the house of David and the promise of a kingly line through the Davidic covenant, through the covenant he made with David. Get with these covenants, guys. We need to know. So when we're talking sovereign, when I say that, he says that a covenant is a sovereign pronouncement of God. So sovereign, ultimate power, sovereign. This is what sovereign means. Ultimate power, supreme ruler. Um, what is the one who exercises power without limitation? You know, there are no limits on God. He's the one, it's his power. It's his world. We're his people. We are his creation. To be beyond the power of others to interfere. We cannot interfere with that type of power, with God's power. So, guys, God rules and reigns over the entire universe. He cannot be opposed. He is Lord of heaven and earth. All right. I just had to say that. Not that y'all didn't know it, but sometimes we just need to be reminded. All right. Because we thinking we're doing this stuff and we think we got it going on and we thinking that we're doing everything under our own power and our own will. Wrong and wrong. We wrong. We should not be doing things under our own power. We should be, moving according under the power and authority of the Holy Spirit. And so when he's talking about pronouncement, so a sovereign pronouncement, a formal authoritative announcement. So, like a pronouncement. I mean, that's an announcement, right? Yeah, it's an announcement, but it's a formal authoritative announcement or declaration. An official announcement, formal and comes from someone in charge. And we know who's the one in charge. God is the one that's in charge. So the covenants are normally unconditional in the sense that God obligates himself in grace by the unrestricted declarations, I will, to accomplish certain announced purposes, despite any failure on the part of the person or people with whom he covenants. So God says he will. He will, when he make that covenant with you, it's a covenant, baby. He will. He says, I will. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. The human response to the divinely announced purpose is always important, leading as it does to blessing for obedience. Leading as it does to blessing for obedience. God will, if you're doing it, if you doing the right thing, if you're being obedient, it leads to blessings and discipline for disobedience. All right. So we can try to act like we can renege on it all we want. So the the thing that we're going to get, if we're doing it right, if we are, holding fast to our agreement, our covenant, we're going to be blessed. And everybody running around here, they want blessings. They want blessings. But the thing about it is nobody's willing to go back and see what they promised God. You won't remember. You don't forget all about it. Now that you out of that pain, now that you out of that sorrow, and going through depression, about to lose this, about to lose your man, about to lose your wife. That was the one thing, honey. My husband went back to God and was like, Lord, what do I need to do in order to get my wife back? He was willing to do. She doesn't have to do this. She don't have to do that. Lord, I promise. So, when you got to keep those promises, and you will be blessed when you do, and you will be disciplined when you don't. But human failure is never permitted to evade or do away with the covenant or block its ultimate fulfillment. Again, human failure is never permitted. It doesn't matter if you decide to fail, if you decide to renege on it. It doesn't do away with the covenant. It doesn't do away with the promise that you made or block its ultimate fulfillment, because God's still going to get done what he needs to get done. And if he doesn't do it through you, you're going to pay the cost still. So you might as well just stick with it. All right. Stick with it. So in the case of the Mosaic covenant, the fulfillment of all promises was made conditional upon Israel's obedience. Okay. And as implied by the words, if you will indeed obey, then you shall. All right. This is what God is. This is why it is conditional. There was something that you had to do. if you will indeed obey the covenant, then you shall have whatever. And followed by all the people answered together, all that the Lord has spoken, we will do. Okay. So with the conditions, if you obey these Israelites, okay, then you shall. And then whatever the covenant, go look it up. It's in Exodus 19:5-8. All right. So that's one of the that's a conditional one that God did with the, based upon Israel's obedience. All right. But there are three universal and general covenants, and they are the Adamic, the Adam covenant, the Noahic, Noah, the covenant with Noah, and Edenic, Edenic. I don't know. So the one with Eden, Edenic. So, potatoes, I don't know, tomato. So look it up. And the Edenic, in that the world, no, within that the whole race is represented as present in Adam in his failure. Oh my God. That's why we all, during the Eden covenant that was made, was because the whole world was on the inside of Adam. So that's why we were born into sin. So we came in under that Edenic covenant. Guys, look this stuff up so you can move with knowledge, so that knowledge can become wisdom, and then that wisdom becomes power and authority. All right. So all the other covenants are made with Israel or the Israelites and apply primarily to them, although with ultimate blessing to the whole world. All right. So I'm just going to end with this. And I want you guys to go look this stuff up for yourself. Because again, these are not conversations that I've ever had in church. Now they'll mention the Adamic, covenant, the Mosaic, the days of Noah, and, the Noahic covenant. But we never really got into breaking it down what it really means. So that's why it's up to us to show ourselves, to study and show ourselves approved, because you won't have the excuse of, oh, God, I didn't know. That won't escape you from or excuse you from reaping the benefits or the consequences of not knowing. Just because, everybody always said, this gets on my nerve. God knows my heart. Yeah, he does. He absolutely does. You wicked viper. What are you, brood of vipers? Whatever. Okay. So I'm just saying, yeah, he knows your heart, but that still doesn't excuse you. And that is the main reason why a lot of the things that we are put to the test, because he knows our hearts. All right. So there are 8 major covenants of special significance in explaining the outworking of God's purposes with man. This is very important, guys, and I need for you all. So I'm going to be talking about it. So tomorrow I'll be here at 7 p.m. and I'm going to start on one of the covenants. And I know I said I was going to start talking about these wicked spirits, but while talking about them, I'm going to share about these spirits that you guys are dealing with every single day. But if you get right inside the covenant that you made, or that we find out about what our ancestors made, we can get that right. We'll learn how to fight those evil spirits that are constantly attacking us, or that are living on the inside of us, that you have allowed yourself to be a host for. Okay. And guys, there is such a thing called spiritual spouses and different things like that have just married themselves to you and all that stuff. But until we learn, all these different things that we, how to make them all come together and understand what it is that we need to do in order for us to gain eternal life, and to make sure our name is written in the Lamb's Book of Life, that we will be let in on the day, that on Judgment Day, God won't be saying, get away from me, I never knew you, till job well done, my good and faithful servant. I want to see all of us get there, guys. I want to see, look. And so my thing is, if I didn't know a lot of these things, and I just feel like it's just up to it's just our sisterly or brotherly or family love to share. All right. So there are 8 major covenants of special significance. Okay. I told you guys, I already told you there was the Edenic, um, Adamic, Noahic, Noah, Noahic, I don't know, Noah, Noahic, Abrahamic, Mosaic. Did y'all know that there was a Palestinian covenant? I never heard about the Palestinian covenant until today. It's major. It's major. And then there is the new covenant. All right. So that's okay. Did I miss somebody? Looks like I missed somebody. So it's supposed to be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Huh. Let me see. I think I missed somebody. The 8 covenants of God purposes, Edenic, Adamic. Okay, I said Adamic, Noahic, the Abrahamic, the Mosaic, the Palestinian. Oh, the Davidic. Oh, yeah, I left that one out. Yep, sorry. And then the new covenant. All right. So yeah, let me add this to my notes. So I won't do that again. But yes, so guys, go check it out, look some up. And if you want to know which one to start with, just start with the one with Eden, Edenick, Edenic. And I think that that's a great place to start. And just always from the beginning of the book, right? So, but anyway, I just wanted to share that little bit of information again. So let me just share this dream I had. I had this dream some years ago, and I never knew what it meant, and I've always been waiting on a day because I still remember it so vividly, like it just happened last night or yesterday, whatever you want to say, like it just happened. And so the dream was with me. I was in a limousine. Sitting in the limousine. I had got in and sat down on my side of the limousine. But then the doors were open, and so other people would get in and sit facing me. So me and they sit facing me. And so what happened was every time somebody come in to sit face me, I'm like, hey, all excited to see him. Next thing I know, the vehicle kind of cracked, the grounds broke over like a earthquake, like some kind of bad um catastrophic something that was going on in the earth, and the grounds broke open like a real bad earthquake. The grounds broke open, and people, every time somebody got in, they fell through. They fell. I was like, what is going on? Every time they come in, they come to the car smiling, but when they sit, they fell through, and everything, they kept falling through. I mean, person after person, even if it was a couple of people, just falling through. And then all of a sudden, it was over. The earthquake was over, and I got out and walked around this building. Got out of the car, walked around all the rubble, walked around on the side of the building in the sun. Everything was just really pretty, and people just a few people came out to the streets to say like, what just happened? And I didn't get a chance to tell them all these folks. I felt like fell down through to hell, but so they were all bewildered, and I'm just looking amazing. And so one was a police officer, and another, just a few sprinkle of people. And so I woke up, and I've been asking God ever since then, what was that dream about? Today, he told me what that dream was about. And that dream was about all these broken covenants, all these people who have made covenants with God. They broke covenant and they fell through. Every time they come, they come in there to sit I don't know what they were coming in there to sit to talk to me about, but they were coming to sit before me, with me. And before I could say anything, they don't fell through all these broken covenants. And that's what he ended up telling me, that broken vehicle, that broken limousine. So you're talking royalty, because limousine stands for, royalty, or high living. People think, what you think when you think limousine. You think somebody got some money, they have status or whatever. So, and then they had broke covenant. That's what he told me, when I'm like, oh my Lord. So my thing is, so now for him to give me that revelation, it was something that I really needed to share and to tell you guys, look up these different covenants. I just gave you 8. And I will actually type the 8 covenants down below here because I want you guys to understand what covenants are being broken so you can stop breaking them. So you can repent, and then you can renounce any old covenants that that families, our ancestors have made with wicked demons. We've been talking about that with evil spirits, but also that we can understand the covenant that we have that's in place with us. And guys, not only that, if you made one individually with God, think about it. Whatever a time, Lord, if you just get me out of this, I promise I'll do this. Did you keep your promise? Lord, if you let this house go through, I promise to serve you. Did you keep your promise? Lord, if you just let me have this baby, I promise out. Did you keep your promise? You got that beautiful baby. You got that beautiful home. You got that job that you wanted. You got your wife back. You got your husband back. All right. He kept his promise. He kept his end of the bargain. Did you keep yours? All right. And so we know that history tells us that our ancestors did not. So think about those individual ones that you've made, and then go back and look up what our ancestors made covenant with God on. All right. All right, guys. So I just wanted to do that again. Y'all know I'm on my obedience journey. And when he tells me to share something, whether I feel like it or not, I am going to do it. I push myself. So I push myself to show up today. Okay. And share this for your lunchtime break. So, hey, so 12:31, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Actually, have an amazing rest of the week. And if you get time, jump in with us and join the conversation on tomorrow evening for the light switch, where we just have great conversations about things that we don't know or wish we knew, or we want the answers to. um hey, Trishelle, look, hey sis, girl, it's tie time. And Miss Vicky, hey girl, hey, thank you guys for being here. I know it's lunchtime, everybody probably said, what in the world is she talking about? But hey, I did it, and I'm about to be out. All right. You guys have an amazing rest of the week. Know that I love you with the love of Christ, and I shall talk to you guys soon. Bye. Yeah, definitely, girl. I'm calling you when I hang up. Watch. Bye.